Hello and welcome to my latest weekly video news from Madison's. Well, Zoopla have come out with their latest house price index data. I like Zoopla's house price news. Their system is a bit newer than Rightmove's. I like Rightmove as well. It's where people hang out. But Zoopla's engine that drives it all has just got much more advanced algorithms around it, and they pride themselves on kind of having the best finger on the pulse of the market. Who knows? But they do come up with some really interesting conclusions. And basically, they are seeing lots of sellers accept reductions to asking price. So over 42% of sellers accept a reduction of 5% or more to get their deal over the line. Now, the price reductions were not as bad as we thought would happen in the first half of the year. And that's because mortgage rates kind of settled a bit, really. But of course, now with inflation staying stubbornly high, Bank of England coming out and saying that rates are probably going to sit close to 6%, then they're predicted 4.5. They are predicting a cooling in the market later on. And this is all to do with buying power of buyers. So this graph you're seeing now on the chart, it just shows you that if a buyer wanted to keep their mortgage payments exactly the same, this is the amount, the difference they could borrow. So at 4%, they could borrow £195,000, but that same monthly repayment at 5% would mean they could only get £174,400, and at 6% would mean they could only borrow £157,000. So you can see there almost £40,000 difference in terms of buying power across those rate changes, 20,000 being the difference that happens each time that rate goes up 1%. So they're expecting H2, half two of this year, for prices just to touch down a little bit as buyers simply can't afford to spend as much as they wanted to. They're also not sure if there's going to be a bit of an influx of supply to the market. So over the last 4 weeks, properties come into market about 14% higher than a seasonal average. I'm not overly worried about that. If I look back in previous weeks in the spring market, it was much quieter. I think spring took a while to get going. And as a result, we're having a delayed busy spring market because of the weather. So we are definitely busier with new listings than we would normally be at this time of year. And I think that's because of the delay that it took for the spring market to get going. And I think if you looked at the total of the first half of the year, pretty much the same. So yeah, as always, mortgage dominates the market. Tunbridge Wells as ever seems to sit in a bubble, and we're all fine here. So where though might you be interested on property prices that are not going at a discount to asking price at the moment? Really interesting piece of research came out. So basically, London Central Prime, that is going great guns, seems completely resilient to anything going on in the mortgage market. And that's probably because it's largely dominated by overseas investors who aren't relying on mortgage finance. But also waterside properties. So Jackson Stops, they did a really interesting piece of research. And I'm just going to look at some of my figures here. So basically, if you have a waterside property, that's a lake, a river, a canal, or a stream, you can probably expect to get around a 64% premium against that property, just not looking at the water. And yeah, 57% of those properties will actually achieve above their guide price if they go to market. Now, why is that? Well, families, of course, love the sort of idle feel of being near to water, and investors like the above average capital growth that you will get it. So yeah, very interesting. I grew up near the coast. I grew up in Norfolk. Very popular place now. Wasn't so popular when I lived there, let me tell you. But yeah, Cromer, which was my nearest seaside town, wasn't lovely, but you know, I'm going back about 30 odd years now. It was very much traditional sort of seaside town. Now I go there, it's very shishy and up and coming. So yeah, definitely in that sort of waterside area, it's doing really, really well. And I had a look through my properties. I thought, what property can I talk to you about? It's got close access to water. How about this lovely converted, well, it's more like a new build barn, actually, Dutch barn, just outside Cranbrook, with only one remaining now. We've sold two. The middle largest one is remaining, and it is close to a beautiful pond. You share ownership of that pond. It's ecological. It's got lots of wildlife in there. The developer has invested heavily in making that a really special place. So there you go. You could have some waterside living. It's on a guide of 950,000. Do give us a call if that's of interest. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye bye.